Black Label book. Black Label book. Okay, I'm done with that. But seriously, this is my first Black Label book. Black Label, if you're not familiar, Watchmen is now Black Label. What Black Label is the adults only line. Because, anyway, um, we'll get into that. But, I wouldn't give this book to a kid. It's called The Three Jokers. There are three Jokers now. Have been since Rebirth. Um, it focused on the mystery of who are these three Jokers. It really doesn't explain much. Like I told one of the comic book guys, Garrett, um, I personally think there are Jokers from other dimensions or other timelines. Other dimensions or other timelines. But eh, either way, someone dressed up as the Joker dies in this one. I think it was the Joker from the 1950s. He he had he had it coming. Um, the one was clearly an homage, at least, to the Joker from the 1990s, with the sun hat and I mean, Booster did go back to that time. Yeah, I remember putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that Booster went back to that time in my Booster Gold 101. I don't know what I want to call it, but it was. I basically summarized all the old Booster Gold books. I think I have to do a second half to that, but um yeah, Booster did go back to the time that they shot Barbara Gordon. Um, that's kind of what inspired my thinking on this because um, they could easily say they're all time anomalies. Um, if the real Dual Dent pops up at the end of this, I'll eat my hat. I don't think that's gonna happen, but um, same with if Jimmy Olsen actually died. But it was a good book. Not a lot of talking in the beginning. So if you're, and the reason I wouldn't give this to a kid, okay, it was kind of like when they shot Blue Beetle. In fact, it was a lot like when they shot Blue Beetle. How it showed the blood gushing from his head. Anyone remember that? Um, like I told you, they killed the Joker from the 1950s, or someone who acts an awful lot like him. Clearly has Joker makeup on, and it shows him getting shot. It doesn't happen off panel. It just sort of happens that he's dead. I wouldn't expose a kid to the Joker getting shot because the Joker is an iconic character. That's why there's two events running simultaneously. And this one, I'd put money on explaining what happened to Alfred and why he's in Doomsday Clock and all that. But that's neither here nor there. That was one of the things I liked about it. I liked that they actually showed Batman has scars. You know, there were actually points where you got to see where Bane broke his back and the Riddler scarred him, and just points that you saw the damage. Like, you actually saw where Batgirl got shot by the one Joker. Yeah. It was very realistic because, it shows him getting patched up by Alfred, and all Alfred says is what happened this time. He says, umbrella. That's it. And like I said, don't get used to it. It was like a minimalist film where you can kind of pick up the plot, but and toward the end, the Joker was very chatty. Batman himself, no, he was like how I like to see him. Very, um, not on edge, but very around the edge. You know? Um, I know a lot of people are saying that the question is could be for kids, but I have to say that if it's anything like this book, the realism may work against it. Because kids don't want to see the damage that Superman or Batman go through. They want to have um, them be restarted, or like they're probably gonna do in the Batman Beyond comic, where it gets fixed next week. Kids you want a new reader to actually have faith in your product, I guess would be the word, where I wouldn't introduce them to the Scarlet Spider of today. I would introduce them to the Scarlet Spider of yesteryear, where he was very hip, very edgy, but at the same time he was the good guy. He'd always win. It may not be clear how he won, but you know, just yeah. So I think that's gonna hurt it in the long run. You'll probably get a few books referencing it here and there, but it'll end up like Killing Joke, where people will have to read it eventually, but it's not some. It's not a first line book. You know, it's not like, oh, you have to show this to a kid. No, it's not like that. It's like it will be quintessential reading in the future, but there'll be parts of it that you can get around. Um, I hope that makes sense. I really did enjoy this book. Um, I'd I'd love to see if they have, for example, the references to, like, Joker being dead, if I'm right. Mom thinks that, I guess I should mention her theory too, that Joker's creating Jokers, which I don't think he'd do that. I mean, in Batman Beyond, he put in a microchip. He didn't create something completely new. And in the killing, in the in Batman Beyond Night of the Joker, Night of 1000 Jokers, the online book, it was because the idea of the Joker had survived to that point, not because he created a Joker. No, it just seems like too much work for that character. He's the kind of character that will die on the steps of the courthouse because that's that's the way he will have. That's the way he'll always go out, with, like, crime as the center. Um, yeah, it won't surprise me if they make a sequel to this too, just like they're making a sequel to Doomsday Clock. Let's be real, it's not a sequel to the original Watchmen. Sequel to Doomsday Clock. If they wanted to make a sequel to Watchmen, they could have done it years ago. I mean, they finally did, but that was only years later, and that was Doomsday Clock. And now the product's gonna have to live up to that. I'm talking, of course, about Rorschach, also a Black Label book, and it will be reviewed on this channel. Again, Three Jokers, good book. 5 out of 5, I guess. A. It was great. Um, in encapsulating the life of an iconic character. It was great in showing how one potential Joker could die. Thanks for putting up with my theory. A little bit of speculation, a little bit of what's not gonna happen, and yeah. Oh, and I know that I know that some information about the second of this book, the second one, has been revealed. I don't know about that yet. Haven't looked into it. Didn't want to get spoiled. Um, Wanted to finish this book first. Yeah, I could be completely wrong in all my theories. The Monitor could show up. Um, Duladin could come back. Jimmy Olsen could die. Anything could happen. But that was the world and the way I see it. For this time, Bob out.